Yo, welcome back to Richie Insights. Today I just wanted to share with you guys my predictions and thoughts regarding the upcoming Tesla AI Day. Right now it's August 17th. Tesla AI Day is August 19th, so I just wanted to share sort of my predictions and thoughts going into it before it happens, and I'll definitely make another follow-up video if there's any sort of big news that comes out that I don't cover in this video. Basically, Tesla holds these days. They've had one other sort of similar day in the past that was geared more towards autonomy, fittingly called Tesla Autonomy Day, where they basically reveal sort of their current status of the sector or the team at Tesla and where they see it going in an effort to attract new talent to the initiative. Last time they invited analysts as well, but I went over the vast majority of the analyst heads, what they presented, and was sort of too long-term and forward-looking for, these sort of quarterly focused analysts anyway. So this time they've sort of changed the tone to really be purely focused on talent. I'm sure analysts will still be tuned in, but I don't think they'll be the primary audience. Basically, Tesla uses AI to sort of train their autonomy, so they are obviously related, but given that they're going to have a whole day focused just on artificial intelligence, I believe that they have ambitions beyond just fully self-driving vehicles as far as artificial intelligence applications go. One thing that has already sort of been announced or alluded to by Alana a couple different times is something called DOJO. DOJO is a supercomputer which is actually rumored to be the 5th largest in the world. I believe Alana actually said that they already have plans to make one even more powerful, and that's just kind of the version 1. Super crazy stuff that a public company has like more powerful computer than many countries' governments. DOJO, I believe, got its name as a reference to the Matrix, where you could go into this virtual sort of training area and learn new skills. For those of you who are Matrix fans, you definitely remember a scene that actually took place in a dojo. But without getting too off track, DOJO is this sort of super powerful computer that you can feed data. The reason DOJO came about, in my opinion, is that Tesla's collected billions of miles of data that they need to feed neural networks to train their cars for full self-driving. However, one of the bottlenecks, if not the biggest bottleneck for them at this point, is labeling the data, which is purely a manual process where you need to hire humans. So a human would take an image from the car and say, okay, here's a stoplight, here's a crosswalk, here's a stop sign. Kind of like when you fill out like a CAPTCHA to like log into a website or whatever, and you have to like click all the bicycles or click all the buses or the bridges or what have you. Anyone who's filled out a CAPTCHA knows it can be a really tedious process that's subject to human error, and it's just kind of slow. So Alana and company basically collected a vast amount of data and realized that there's just like no way in hell that humans could label it as quickly as it was coming in, especially as they deployed millions of cars on the road that were driving billions of miles a year and collecting like 30 pictures, if not more, per second of driving. It's like an outrageous amount of data if you really think about it. So enter DOJO, this supercomputer, which is meant to automate the process of labeling the data to feed the neural network. The neural network is also artificial intelligence, of course, that is making sort of predictions based on this vast amount of data that it has had. Artificial intelligence is called that because it's like a computer version of natural intelligence like you or I have in our brain. So there's different types of artificial intelligence. I'd personally divide it into two broad categories, one being narrow artificial intelligence and one being like generic artificial intelligence. I would consider narrow or like specific artificial intelligence to be what Tesla is more interested in based on comments from Alana in the past. He's actually a really big advocate about the dangers of artificial intelligence, and he believes that the main dangers come from generic or like general artificial intelligence, basically giving a computer a brain similar to ours that doesn't really have any limits on what its knowledge touches. Like you could think of generic artificial intelligence being like if DOJO is plugged in directly to the internet and just had access to every bit of data in the world that has been uploaded online. That's kind of what you see sort of playing out in movies like iRobot, or in things like Star Trek with like the Borg, for example. So essentially, narrow or like specific artificial intelligence would be the opposite. It would be intelligence that's trained in one specific like sector or type of task. And in this case, the first narrow or specific intelligence that they're pursuing at Tesla is labeling. And again, that's so they can sort of remove the bottleneck of this vast data set that they have being prepared to be fed to the neural network that they use for the full self-driving and autopilot technologies. The reason I think that this is just like insane and has all these super exciting implications for Tesla is, if you think about Amazon, AWS, Amazon Web Services, is their ultimate cash cow. And the sort of quick story of how AWS came into existence is Amazon was a fast-growing business. They were a pioneer and a leader in their field. They were just scaling tremendously fast. Basically, Amazon found themselves with this moat where they had like such scale and such need to push the technology forward that they sort of pioneered cloud infrastructure almost like accidentally. And eventually they realized that they had an opportunity to sell that to other companies looking to leverage Amazon's scale, because basically a small startup just couldn't keep up with the pace of innovation that Amazon had. They also couldn't access that same technology for as cheap as Amazon could provide it. Many huge startups today like Dropbox and Netflix started on AWS, still one of the leaders in the cloud infrastructure space. And more importantly, it actually provides the majority of profits for Amazon, because it's like software and hardware as a service rather than shipping goods, which is a generally pretty low margin business, providing, you know, like grocery delivery or shipping you furniture, like having to pay UPS, or of course now they're vertically integrating into logistics as well. But getting back to Tesla, I really see this being like an AWS opportunity for them, where they had this need and this bottleneck that they had to solve, and they've reached this scale that no one else has. So they pushed the ball down the field to the point where they realized, hey, like we have something no one else has, and other people could definitely use this. And so I expect them, once Dojo's fully online and operating as expected and doing what they need it to do internally, I expect them to offer excess capacity of Dojo up to third parties and like other enterprises and customers. I expect it to have very high margin, because it's extremely hard to recreate the 5th largest supercomputer in the world. And of course, that's just version 1. I don't expect them to stop there. I believe Elon has actually already said that they plan or are building already even more powerful version before the first one's even complete. So really exciting for long-term investors, really exciting for fans of technology and just Tesla enthusiasts in general. Short-term analysts might not be too excited now, but I believe in a few quarters or a couple of years, once Dojo is fully online and they do begin offering the sort of AI as a service to people, it will be probably one of the biggest drivers of growth for Tesla at that point. I really just wanted to make this video prior to the announcement, get my thoughts on the record, give you guys an opportunity to chime in with your predictions and see what you think. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think Tesla would never sort of make available that competitive advantage to like the average consumer? Or do you think that they will? I'd love to know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this content, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. It helps more people find content like this and hopefully make better investment decisions, or at least learn more about things like Tesla, blockchain, and coding. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It would help me keep creating content like this for you and help you know when I release new content. And besides that, hope you're doing great. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.